About 30 seconds. Remember, if you are done, bring out your ELA binder and flip to the vocabulary section. You can include this list of words in the section.
Got it. The police.
All right. Everyone, please take 30 seconds to bring out your ELA binder. Flip to the vocabulary section. If you don't have your ELA binder, simply write the definitions that I'm going to give you in this classwork. Because you're going to see this classwork. That's why it's open. You put it in your binder.
Do you want to just put it on there so you can keep the share?
It's easy. Yes. Orange.
Back. Very good. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Mia. Thank you, Diva. Thank you, Ian. All right. Now, this is a list of words that are going to be in Act 1 of our next book, The Crucible. I cannot wait to start this. However, we're going to take a bit of time, probably like a week and a half, to understand some of the history behind this book, some of the history behind this time period, and then we will start this book. But right now, we're learning some of the vocabulary that's really going to help us succeed when we start reading this book. So, number 1. Although recent history has shown some improvement, humans continue to defile the planet with their extravagance and waste of natural resources. Jawad. One more time? To spoil. Okay. I think that's good. The dictionary definition. It likes to come up. Defile, a verb, meaning to make unclean or impure. Let's make sure we have these down. Remember, this needs to be in the vocabulary section of your binder. If you don't have your binder today, make sure you write it in the classbook, which you will keep, so that you can write it in your binder later. You know, I'm doing ELA binder checks. Number 2, if you don't get it, you have Google, you have vocab.com, which has all of the definitions. Number 2, in 1994, the Tutsi population in Rwanda endured a persecution from the Hutu radicals that led to the genocide of over 1 million people. The definition of persecution is what, Iad? Sorry? Judgment. Kim, what did you get for number 2? A little louder? The ending of something? Okay, let's be a little bit more specific. The definition of persecution is the act of harassing or oppressing a group of people, especially because of their identity. There is religious persecution. That is often the context that word is used in.
Okay, so what is for number 1? For number 1, it's to make unclean or impure. Make unclean. Yep. Got it. Thank you. Remember, these words are also on vocab.com with the definitions. All right.
Number 3, we took Rashad's somber look to mean that he did not receive the promotion at work. Fanta. Sad. The simple one. Somber, very sad or serious. Another synonym is gloomy. Please take note of the part of speech as well. It's an adjective.
Thanks. It's being serious. Is number 2 serious?
Number 4, similar to Cuba, we are seeing a systemic repression of freedoms in many countries. Repression, Jen. Number 4.
All right.
You got some, I saw it. To deprive of? Okay, Thomas, what did you have? Sorry? To hide, so we have to deprive of or to hide. Repression. 2 different definitions here. A noun, the use of force to restrict or control, or the act of suppressing a thought or desire. Often people and communities or groups can feel repressed as well. Repression, repressed. By the way, with vocabulary lists, What can you expect later this week? Say it. Vocabulary quiz. What else? Common lip. I'm not looking for hands. Just say it. Oral drills. Thank you very much.
Drill.
We haven't done that in a minute because we haven't done vocab in a minute, but we're back to it. All right. Number 5, if movie studios hope to earn their money back, they must focus on producing films that will keep audiences enthralled. Yusuf. Entertained. Okay. Invested, entertained, very good. My definition is to capture the attention of or to hold spellbound.
So
I know that the
entertainment.
hold spellbound is a little specific, but it makes sense in the context of the piece. Number 6. When John got suspended from school, he showed the vindictive side of his personality by putting a nail in one of the principal's cars. Moses. Go for it anyway. Read number 6. When John got suspended, he showed the vindictive side of his personality by putting a nail in one of the principal's cars. What do you think? I should see other hands. 1, 2, 3.
Like the bad side of your personality?
A bad side? Let's be a little bit more specific. We can do better than bad. Madonna. Come on, y'all. We can do better than that. Jaden. Jokester side? Not quite there, but I like that you're trying to expand the vocab. Thomas. Is evil side? Bad and evil. It's kind of the same thing. Angry side? Okay. The idea of vindictive has to do with revenge and vengeance. Having or showing a strong desire for revenge. What's up? I'm calling you.
So I didn't call him over.
Which one? You didn't?
I didn't call him.
Okay.
So
Just making sure.
what do you say for vindictive?
Vindictive? This one. Showing desire for revenge.
Oh, thanks.
Mhm.
So
As the earthquake bears down, I was overpowered with trepidation. Colette. Sorry? Relief, not the definition, but I can see how you got there. Well, actually, no, I don't. When there's an earthquake, do you feel relief? What do you feel when there's an earthquake? Not that you experienced one, but like, what would you feel? Shock, Eviana? Nervous, okay. Maybe fear. Trepidation. A feeling of fear or agitation that something may happen.
what?
You okay?
Good.
I'm writing this
Number
definition
8.
down for trepidation.
Make sure you exude professionalism when you go to a job interview. Make sure you exude professionalism
Trepidation,
when
a
you go to a
feeling
job
of
interview.
fear.
Viola.
Fear. Scaredness.
Sorry? To reflect, or what was the last one? Or bring out, okay.
React.
There you go.
React.
To react? Not quite there, but 100%. Exude, to display strongly and openly. Thank you all for the passionate enthusiasm regarding
Thanks,
some of this participation. I really appreciate it. Exude,
Yes.
to display strongly and openly. People can exude confidence. That's usually the context I hear it in. Because I'm so confident. I guess. Number 9. Our priest calls the nightclub right off the highway a nest of iniquity. This is a harder one. Why would a priest call a nightclub a den of iniquity? What could iniquity mean? No hands? We're all scared? Wait, who said it? Sis, raise that hand. Sin? Very good. Oops, that's the wrong one. Grossly immoral or wicked, sinful. That is iniquity.
Sinful.
Sinful. Committing sin.
Committing suicide.
Considered a sin. Absolutely.
Thanks.
Did I spell that wrong?
That's stupid suicide.
All right. And last but not least, after being offered candy by a licentious man in the park, the scared girl ran to her parents.
Wow.
Suspicious, creepy. Anything else? Random. Has a much stronger definition when it comes to this man's alleged behaviors. lacking in moral restraint, or sexually unrestrained, meaning sexually committing immoral acts. We will not discuss that, but understand that word because that word will apply to our reading of the crucible. So you have 10 words, 10 definitions. Make sure you understand them, make sure you review them. I will give you a heads up on the oral drill, and know that you will have a vocabulary quiz on Friday on these words. Not yet. Someone ahead of you. Now, today, what we're going to focus on is context for this book. Yusef, you see it? Mia, you see it?
Saw it.
Don't be calling out this book. I just read this book again, and I love it. And I'm going to defend this book. All right, don't start with me. I'll come at you. Okay. So we're going to focus on the Salem witch trials. Raise your hand if you've heard of Salem witch trials. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can someone summarize what they believe happened during the Salem witch trials? All right, Jay, let's see you, sir. Go for it.
Men and some women would believe that these certain, no, specifically men would believe that women are witches.
Okay.
Due to the way they act and the way they what's this overall
Ooh, okay, so mostly men, you're saying accusing women of being witches. Okay, Diva?
It was like men and women who thought whoever thought one was a witch. Took this girl, accused a girl to be a witch, and then they put her on the rope. They drowned her, drowned her to death.
So if you were accused of being a witch, what happened?
She was drowned to death.
Okay, you could be drowned, executed like Moses said. Kim, I see you.
Basically, two classes of people would blame each other for being witches because they didn't like each other and were jealous of each other. And then they would put them in mistrial either if they didn't like them or something. It was mainly the younger girls doing it to older women.
You know a lot about this.
I learned this in summer school.
You learned it in summer school? Interesting. We're going to learn a lot more about it now. But in order to understand what happened during the Salem witch trials, we have to understand humanity. We have to understand human behavior and why people act the way that they act. So, some of you are witches. And we're going to participate in a witch hunt. So, everyone, I am waiting. Right here. Hear that? This is your desk.
Thanks.
That's what that is. I have slips of paper here. When I put these on your desk, please do not touch them yet. But these slips of paper say one of two things. They either say witch or non-witch. You will either be a witch or you will not be a witch. When you open this piece of paper, Diva, I need your attention here. When you open this piece of paper, do not show it to anyone. This is for your eyes only. So you see it, look at it in secrecy, and put it in your pocket. No one can see this. Don't touch it. Smack your hand. Now, there are rules to this game. We have to find out who is a witch and who is not a witch. However, if you are not a witch, you have an objective. The objective is to make a group of other non-witches, at least 5 of you. If you are a witch, what you need to do is infiltrate this other group and get inside the non-witch group. Now, everyone's going to deny being a witch, of course. So, how can you tell if someone's a witch or not?
You put on God,
Put on God? I don't think that's going to cut it here. We're talking about witches and the devil.
I don't know.
Jade, what do you think?
They act strange.
If they act strange, okay.
Something act like the witch.
It's They act sus.
Yeah.
Now, of course, they're going to deny it. So you have to look at body language. When you see someone opening this piece of paper, look at their eyes. What do they act like?
Laughing, giggling.
You're ours. Do not open these pieces of paper yet. Rules. You are not allowed to ask someone outright if they are a witch. Get creative. One of my favorites is, do you consort with the Satan?
No.
All right. He had a response. Or use some of the vocabulary. Do you fall under the satanic den of iniquity?
No.
That wasn't enough. So I'm suspicious.
It's still like that.
Now, if you suspect someone of being a witch, call them out verbally. Say Jawad is a witch. He's acting sus. I don't like. Call it so that everyone else can avoid this person because they're a witch. And what happens if you're a witch, Steven?
I'm supposed to be a witch. No,
Can't be in the group. And what else, Moses?
it's not fun
You
yet.
get executed. Don't get executed today. Okay? Who did not receive a slip of paper? Now,
It's not fun. Look.
Everyone?
I know.
open your slips of paper. Keep them to yourself. Put them in your pocket. What's the cost? I'm seeing some shady reactions already.
Thank you.
All right. Now, all right. Everyone, track me up here, please. We need to get this sorted out. Thank you, Diva. Alan.
Thanks to
I'm
me.
going to start a 5-minute timer. You have 5 minutes to get into a group of at least 5 non-witches if you're non-witch. If you're a witch, infiltrate these groups. Put on your poker face. Get up. Go do it. 5 minutes start now. Let's see what we got here. Already, Thomas is acting shady. He's not getting up. I don't like this. I am participating. Y'all better get sorted out. I don't like this at all. Bishop, I don't know who to trust, man. Do we trust this group? Oh, I don't know either. I don't know who to trust. This is annoying. How are you doing? Can I join this group? What? Because I'm wet? Why am I acting sus? Because I'm on a group.
Whoa, what you say?
So I'm not allowed to group. You're too much. What about here? Can I join this group? Yeah. You're a witch? I think that's what a witch. Not a witch? You're a witch? I'm not a witch. What? Can I join this group?
Yeah, you can join.
Really? Yep. Alright, but wait. Why did you change your heart? Let's change.
Because when I was a witch.
Why is you a witch?
Because she's acting sus.
I always laugh.
I just no, dude, I don't like that.
You understand my face is red.
I'm fighting.
She can get out of here. You feel me?
Yeah, I don't like this.
Yeah, let's go.
I'll show you my card.
No.
I know what you are. I know what you really are.
No witches. She is the witch.
No witches.
No witches. Get over here.
I don't like this. Are you looking up potions on your phone? Is that what you're doing? No way. I don't like this. I like this. Well, then you win. You bask in the glory of your victory. Unless there's a witch amongst us. Less than 2 minutes. Finalize your groups. Finalize your groups. You're witches. You're ostracized. You're kicked out. Which, please? Wait, who's starting?
What? They kicked me out.
James a witch. Everyone who's a witch.
got kicked out, yo.
James goes to
I'm not a witch. I thought only women could be witches.
No, there's male witches.
I thought that was a wizard. I thought that was being a wizard.
You're showing everything. Get away.
I'm not.
So this is But yeah. All right, everyone, please pause. Voices off. All right, I need to see the groups. Who's Kim's group? Raise your hand.
Smiley, you're out.
Rio's out.
Carl's out.
Who is in Moses' group? Oh, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who's in Moses' group? Moses, Brandon, you're all. You two are in a group? You're one group. Raise your hand. I thought Jaden was away.
I'm not.
Bye. Bye, Jaden. I'm not away. All right. Everyone. Witches?
Yeah.
Please raise your hand.
Nobody.
One witch? 2 witches?
Right.
You know what's shady about that? Not one of these slips of paper said the word witch.
Huh?
So you're lying. No, there's actually no witches.
Wow.
Oh, no.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
There were no witches. Everyone take your seat. Take your seats. Take your seats.
Oh, these are just new friendships.
No.
Wait. Take your seats. Take your seats. Now, I'm curious about a couple of things here. You said, Khaled, what happened between you two?
He was acting very tough.
Why was he acting strange? What led you to believe that this peach of a man right here was a witch?
He kept shivering and stuttering.
He was shivering and stuttering?
Yeah.
Oh, why were you shivering? Because you were cold? Yeah, that's
Yeah,
see? I don't like that behavior though. Take a seat, not yet. Now, everyone, in the class, we're sorry for the weird spacing. The printers were doing the whole thing. I didn't have enough time this morning. My bad. But you have to answer these questions. And the first one, I think, is an interesting one. What led you to believe that someone could have been a witch? Already between Khaled and Yusuf, this friendship was just broken up in a dramatic, tragic way. Because he wouldn't stop shivering.
Okay.
What other behavior led you to believe someone could have been a witch?
Thank you for telling me.
Alan? I'm going to ask that one more time. Aviana? What behavior led you to believe that someone could have been a witch? Jason? Body posture? What do you mean?
Just the way they are, and like, what's his face? Just their general aura.
Okay. So when I started saying that people were witches, everyone just assumed, oh my God, there must be witches around here. But I heard no one say the idea, maybe there are no witches. What?
That's too obvious.
It's too obvious? Now, is it easier to believe that someone is a witch when the whole group believes it too? Yep. Why, Vlad?
Everybody's agreeing.
So you agree to it, if everyone else agrees to it.
No.
Kim?
They
No.
put ideas in your mind and you start to believe it.
Yep. Say that one more time.
They put ideas in your mind and you start to believe it yourself.
Okay, so other people, especially a whole group, can put ideas in your mind and then you believe it too. Is it easier to just conform to the group
No.
or to just maybe stand up for someone who is a witch? For example, Khaled was accused of being a witch. If I started standing up for Khaled, what would you think of me? Why?
Because you're standing up for a witch.
But you don't know he's a witch. You just assume that he is, right?
It wasn't.
That's an accusation.
It's an accusation. This is, in a microcosm, this is similar to what happened in Salem. Were there any actual witches?
No.
No, but the idea is planted, and then people, especially people in groups, go wild with it. They go crazy. They engage in what's called mass hysteria. Anyone know what hysteria means?
Are you
What
okay?
does it, what does it
Good.
mean? Huh? You said yes. So what does it mean?
You like imagine stuff?
I need you to be much more specific. Tom. A little louder, please. A little louder, can't hear you. Disaster hysteria does not mean disaster. Yeah. What does hysteria mean?
Be not trusting.
Surprised no one's just reading the board during this time.
Oh,
This is not a board. This is a screen.
TV screen.
So what does hysteria mean? Kim, can you read the definition for the class?
Exaggerated or uncontrollable fear or fandom, especially among groups of people.
Write that word down. You have a notes part in your classwork. Please write that down. Where's your classwork? Bring it out and write.
Where?
Where?
You see the part at the very bottom? It goes on to the very back page.
Oh.
Now.
You want to
So, the idea of hysteria is an idea that we will develop, that we will study and analyze throughout this unit. What happens when people in a group start confronting ideas, but not individually, as part of this group? What is that uncontrollable emotion and fear? What does that fear lead people to do? What did you say, Jaden? Maybe blame each other, accuse each other? Absolutely. All of this also stems from the idea that people, in and of themselves, are afraid that
What?
other people are out to get them.
Oh,
That's the idea
got
of
it.
paranoia. People are out to get you. Nothing is safe. That is paranoia. Anyone ever heard of the idea of mob mentality? Anyone? Interesting. So mob mentality has to do with the idea that if you are in amongst a group of people, what do you tend to believe in a group of people? What they believe, what the group believes. That is mob mentality. That is something called groupthink. When the desire to be part of the group kind of overrides your own individual perception of yourself. Now, I'm going to write a question on the board, and I want everyone to write down this question in their notes on the classwork. The question is, what caused the hysteria and panic during the Salem witch trials? And paranoia, sorry. This is the question. Thank you, Amia, for writing that down. Thank you, Darius, Viola, Iad. What caused this hysteria and paranoia? Of course, people accusing each other of being witches. But what other factors came into play? I'm going to play a video on the Salem witch trials, and I'm going to ask you this question after you watch the video. As you watch the video, please take notes on this idea. What caused this hysteria and paranoia? I'm going to give you 30 more seconds, and then we'll start watching the video.
This stupid video. On the ground.
All right. Everyone, please track the screen so that you can watch video on the Salem witch trials. And what is the question that you are answering me on?
Why was there paranoia?
And hysteria during the Salem witch trials. I will cold call on a few scholars to answer this question. Here we go.
Okay.
Take note of the community, what troubles they were facing, what could have led to this hysteria.
Of a crime you did not commit. It's impossible to prove your innocence. If you insist that you're innocent anyway, you'll likely be found guilty and prosecuted. But if you confess, apologize, and implicate others for good measure, you'll go free. Do you give a false confession or risk a public hanging? This was the choice facing those accused of witchcraft in the village of Salem, Massachusetts, between February 1692 and May 1693. They were the victims of paranoia about the supernatural, misdirected religious fervor, and a justice system that valued repentance over truth. Salem was settled in 1626.
Take note of the community, what they
by
endured.
a group of English Protestants. Life was strict and isolated for the people of Salem. Battles with their Native American neighbors and groups of French settlers were commonplace. People feared starvation and disease, and relations between villagers were strained. To make matters worse, 1692 brought one of its coldest winters on record. That winter, two cousins, 9-year-old Betty Paris and 11-year-old Abigail Williams, started behaving very strangely. A physician found nothing physically wrong, but diagnosed the girls as under an evil hand. Puritans believed that the devil wreaked havoc in the world through human agents, or witches, who blighted nature, conjured fiendish apparitions, and tormented children. As news swept through the village, the symptoms appeared to spread. Accounts describe 12 so-called afflicted girls contorting their bodies, having fits and complaining of prickling skin. 4 of the girls soon accused 3 local women of tormenting them. All 3 of the accused were considered outsiders in some way. On February 29th, the authorities arrested Sarah Good, a poor pregnant mother of a young daughter, Sarah Osborne, who had long been absent from church and was suing the family of one of her accusers, and Tituba, an enslaved woman in Betty Paris's home known by her first name only. Tituba denied harming the girls at first, but then she confessed to practicing witchcraft on the devil's orders, and charged Good and Osborne with having forced her. Osborne and Good both maintained their innocence. Osborne died in prison, while Good's husband turned against her in court, testifying that she was a witch or would be one very quickly. Good's 4-year-old daughter was imprisoned and eventually gave testimony against her mother. Meanwhile, Good gave birth in jail. Her baby died, and she was convicted and hanged shortly thereafter. Tituba was held in custody until May, and then released. These 3 victims were just the beginning. As accusations multiplied, others, like Tituba, made false confession to save themselves. The authorities even reportedly told one accused witch that she would be hanged if she did not confess and freed if she did. They were not particularly interested in thoroughly investigating the charges. In keeping with their church's teachings, they preferred that the accused confessed, asked for forgiveness, and promised not to engage in more witchcraft. The court accepted all kinds of dubious evidence, including so-called spectral evidence, in which the girls began raving when supposedly touched by invisible ghosts. Complicating matters further, many of the jurors in the trials were relatives of the accusers, compromising their objectivity. Those who dared to speak out, such as Judge Nathaniel Saltonstall, came under suspicion. By the spring of 1693, over 100 people had been imprisoned, and 14 women and 6 men had been executed. By this time, accusations were starting to spread beyond Salem to neighboring communities, and even the most powerful figures were targets. When his own wife was accused, the governor of Massachusetts colony suspended the trials. Sentences were amended, prisoners released, and arrests stopped. Some have speculated that the girls were suffering from hallucinations caused by fungus, or a condition that caused swelling of the brain. But ultimately, the reason for their behavior is unknown. What we do know is that adults accepted wild accusations by children as hard evidence. Today, the Salem witch trials remain a cautionary tale of the dangers of groupthink and scapegoating, and the power of fear to manipulate human perception. Weaponized accusations of witchcraft were around for millennia before reaching the villager.
So, from that video, what caused the paranoia and hysteria during the Salem witch trials? Oh, we got nothing. One hand. And ask that one more time. What caused the hysteria and the paranoia during the Salem witch trials? Think about the people involved, the community, what they believed. They were like. One, two, is that a hand? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Thank you. Viola.
Someone was hallucinating and then two girls were, and after like they heard that, they started thinking that something was happening to them, and they started accusing people who were kind of outsiders of being witches, and it spread.
Okay, so a bunch of little girls started acting strangely, and they started accusing other people of I'm under their influence. They are in consortment with the devil. They did this to me. Fanta, what are you gonna add?
I still said that I think what caused hysteria and paranoia was like starvation and the symptoms that spread and the amount of people that were hanged in prison.
Okay, so let's talk about one of the first points you mentioned, the community of Puritans. We're going to learn more about the Puritans tomorrow, a lot of specific details about the Puritans. But what was their community like again? What did they endure and face?
Starvation.
Starvation. What else?
They were strict in their isolation.
Okay, they were isolated. I heard Thomas say it too. They were strict how? What did they have to follow very strictly? The church, their religion. Absolutely. Can you just lead your community during this time in 1692? What's outside of your community? Yeah? Native Americans, French settlers. You can't just go to the bodega down the street. Like, this is a small community during a time when there's no like big towns or cities. Like, you have your community, and then outside of it is Native Americans who are trying to kill you, French settlers who are trying to kill you, and then what was the weather like? The coldest winter at that time.
What?
So already the situation for them is very severe, very dire. And then strange things start to happen. Were there actually witches? No. But accusations started happening after some of the girls started acting strange. No one knows to this day what it was. Some say it was a fungus or swelling of the brain called encephalitis. Some say it could have been that. But it started a mass hysteria in the community. They're a witch. He's a witch. What did you have to do in order to prove, or not in order to prove anything, in order to live, in order to not be hanged for it? What? Okay, first you have to admit to being a witch. Already from the first one. To admit to being a witch, what does that do to you?
Make you look soft.
Not just that, but
You should look better in front of like other people.
yeah.
Like the environment.
If you live, yeah, exactly. That was if you live in a tight knit community and you admit to being a witch, who's gonna want to hang out with you?
No one.
During a time when like this is taken this is life or death. Why would I want my children playing with their children or someone who admitted to being a witch? They said that they were a witch. Why would I want to do anything with them? They don't have any. Well, maybe. Now, What else did you have to do in order to live? Not only confess, what else, Kim?
Either be another witches like
What do you mean?
I think you should have to like bring someone else to tell them who else is the witch.
Very good.
You also have to promise that you never do it again.
Yeah, so pretty much admit you're a witch, say like, my bad, I won't do it again.
You snitch on somebody.
And snitch. And pretty much say, you know what? I'm sorry. By the way, Khaled from across the street, pretty sure I saw him talking with Satan the other day, and he's consorting with the devil, and he's definitely involved in witchcraft. Sorry, Khaled, I came for you, but I saw what I saw. Or I think I did. Now, what did I just do? Like, someone in that time period, what did they have to do? Do they actually see someone doing something wrong? So is it really snitching?
No.
So what are they actually doing?
Closing them.
Accusing? Is it a just accusation?
No.
Yeah. So it's
Okay, attacking. Kill.
yeah, it's a life for a life. I'm gonna save myself, but I'm gonna accuse Brandon, and they'll probably kill him. What would you do?
Snitch. Sorry.
You would let Brandon die?
Yep, it's my life.
So
No.
just value your life over someone
No.
else's.
No stupid.
Do these seem like very
I mean, but like,
yeah?
what if you just keep on switching on each other?
You just keep finishing on what? On just saying like they're all witches?
If I say you, and then you say you, and then he says Jay, and then you say, and then Brandon, and then
So what do you think happens?
We all die.
What do you think happens to a community of people when everyone's accusing each other? No trust, maybe violence,
We all die.
hysteria, exaggerated, uncontrollable
Go
fear.
war zone.
No one can trust anyone else. Okay? That's what happens. Now, everyone, with the remaining time you have left, I would like you to answer your exit ticket. But also remember that you have homework. Your homework is posted in School Deep. It is this common lit assignment titled The Salem Witch Hunts. You also have
Understand it.
You also have vocabulary.com.
Sing. Keep singing. My whole head up.
With this time, complete your exit ticket, please.
Alrighty. Right.
What creates this hysteria?
Banging song. Another.
What is it? Please continue with your exit ticket.
I don't know.
And remember, order one was not your quarter.
It
Did
is.
not perform as well as you think you could have. This is the time to really rebound. You're starting a new unit, a new novel. Please do your best. Reach out for help if you need it.
Alright. I don't know what I have to say. Oh, I can check comment. Let comment like this. Yes, sir. Fresh. Yes. Guys. I can't remember what it's called.
Do you have?
What?
Are you working on the exit ticket? Do you need help with it?
Huh?
Do you need help understanding the exit ticket?
Alright, got it. Got it. Oh, wait.
Everyone, this is full punch because it needs to be in your binder.
Right.
So please make sure you do that. Everyone needs to remain seated or you are dismissed.
Yep, sir. Notice that.
Take a seat. Take a seat. Take a seat. Take a seat. Take a seat.
Like this, we can subscribe.
I'm waiting for everyone to be seated.
It's a notification. Like I'm tapping what?
You wait.
So sometimes what is your favorite market?
Remember your homework is on Common Lip. Have a great day. Thank you.
See you next.